So, good evening, everybody. Continue tonight in chapter 44. We're holding V'ava Rabo G'dola Mizu, which is on page Samach Gimel in the original text, pretty much in middle of the page, the center of the page, was at the end of the line. So with Alter Rebbe's, the basis of this Perek Mem Daled, the Rebbe says there is, despite I explained in the previous chapter, in chapter Mem Gimel, the 43rd chapter, generally the two levels of Ava, of love, of Yid to Hashem, one called Ava Rabba, one called Avas Olam. The Alter Rebbe was very articulate of these two levels of Ahava, love to Hashem, and why they're called the Rabba, and why they're called, in other words, the Ava Rabba, Avas Olam. And this chapter, the message that there's one type of love which is included from all the different levels of Ava Rabba and Avas Olam. Now, to see the Ava Rabba and Avas Olam again, you just have to go back to the previous chapter, Perek Mem Gimel. As we always mention, it's so easy to access. It's on this very website, the TanyaOnline.com website. Again, say very easy to access because there's a separate scroll bar for all the classes in the past, including this very last few classes, which deals with these very ideas, this Ava Rabba Avas Olam mentioned in the 43rd chapter, or this which we noted that it is in the 43rd chapter in detail, and also it's easy to follow the class, as we mentioned many times, and always like to mention it for the newcomers that the way the website is structured is that you can follow the class easily. There's a separate scroll bar with a text accordingly, and again, which makes it all that easier just to follow the information of the Holy Tanya. So the Alter Rebbe says there's one love which is included of all, and this is the love called Nafshi Ivisicha. This is the love which would be called a love of a person seeking the well-being of his own soul, and the soul of a Yid is Hashem. So he seeks Hashem because he loves HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He seeks his soul, which is God. And Alter Rebbe puts this into the context is because you, Hashem, you're my true soul, my true nefesh, and therefore I desire you, I pine for you, I crave for you. And Alter Rebbe lens, this is which is mentioned in Zayir, that when a person gets up in the morning, or a person is meant to get up in the morning, to be more accurate, meant to get up at night, early in the morning, or Lashon of the Zayir is Belayla, at night, to study Torah throughout the entire night till the morning. Why? Because he is so he has such a desire to connect with his soul. Ivisicha, I covet nafshi, my soul. I covet my soul. I covet you. And we know Hashem is in his Torah. Hashem placed his whole nefesh in his Torah. Anon nafshi ksavis. You obviously mentioned many times this Gemara, which says Anochi Hashem Elokecha, the first formal grand exposure of HaKadosh Baruch Hu to his people when. By Matan Torah, by the giving of the Torah, Hashem began the words, I am Hashem your God. The Gemara says that I, Anochi, is an acronym of I, Anochi, I, Nafshi Ksavis Yavis, I took my soul, I wrote it into Torah, I gave it over to you. So Torah is where you find Hashem's nefesh. And because Nafshi Ivisicha, because I desire, I pine for my soul, so I pine for Hashem, which is my nefesh, by learning Torah, getting up every night, and learning Torah till the morning. This is, again, you can see this class also. This is the very last class on this site. So you can see this again. We're just saying this, just a few quick notes in order to come into today's class. Just to point out, Alter Rebbe says that he says just like a physical nefesh, in other words, or the nefesh, to say better, the nefesh of a physical, which gives the physical its life. There is this concept, innate, inherent, of every human being, not even necessarily the Yid, nafshi v'sicha, I desire you, my soul. Meaning to say, and here we're not even talking about the godly soul, the soul which vivifies and vitalizes and makes me a healthy human being. The physical dimension, my body, my functions should be healthy. This comes from a flow of energy, a healthy flow of energy from my nefesh. And this, every human being is ivisicha, he covets. I want to make sure that there is that symmetry, that flow of energy from my nefesh to my body, and I remain healthy. When I go to sleep, Alter Rebbe says, when a person goes to sleep, a person goes to sleep, what he has in mind is that I'm looking forward to get up the next morning. Because when you go to sleep, part of your nefesh leaves you. And when it says sleep is one of the 60th of passing, expiration, total expiration. So there is, and we know when we go to sleep, the body is tired, and then the soul leaves the body to a certain degree, to a certain extent. Obviously, there is Shima, there's the mark which keeps the body alive. But what does the person desire? That in a few hours he'll be able to get up as a healthy person, that the nefesh should connect with the body again seamlessly, in a way that there's a flow of a perfect flow of energy entering in every part of the body via the nerve system into every single detail of the body, that everything should function simply, that I should be a healthy human being. This is a natural covet that a human being has. So Alter Rebbe said, just like especially when a person's not feeling well, he's weak. The reason why a person is weak physically is because there is interruption. There's a compromise in that flow of energy from the nefesh into the body. And therefore we covet it. Therefore I want to become healthy. I want that there should be that seamless flow from my nefesh, from the vitalizing soul into my body. So too, because I know that Hashem, again on the spiritual dimension, which is the central part of the Yid, his soul, which is the Yid, the godly soul, desires, or the total Yid desires nafshi, my soul, which is as well, or primarily Hashem, ivisicha, I covet, I desire to connect with you, and therefore and again, this comes from great love, as Lashon of Zayar, that a person is a love from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, mirchim musa the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because he's loved of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to get up every night, lishtadla bepulchana at safra, to get involved in avodas Hashem till the morning, which again, this is in the context of learning Torah. This is an ava, a particular love, which is included all in Ava Rabba and in Abba Salem. Haklula mikol bchinas, it's included of all levels, which is Ava Rabba and Abba Salem. All levels within Ava Rabba, as we mentioned then, 43rd chapter. Ava Rabba, there's a few levels, in Abba Salem, there's different levels. So, a particular love which is kol, meaning which is included in all the different levels of love, Ava Rabba, Abba Salem. And not only that, he says, Shavel Chol Nefesh Yisrael, it's equal to every single Yid. And V'Yerusha, because again, it's an inheritance from our forefathers. We mentioned this last week, the way Alter Rebbe, why is it equal to every single Yid? And this is the key also, because Yerusha, it's an inheritance. Any inheritance you don't have to work for. A inheritor, even the moment he's born, and God forbid, the one his family member, which left him this inheritance, has passed on. He doesn't even know the value of this money, never of this money or any other possession that was left for him. He certainly didn't work for it. This belongs to him inherently, and therefore, similarly, this love is innate and inherent by every single yid. That love, that nafshi v'sicha type of love. So we go on today. A greater love and a more grandeur love. Vihi, even greater than this above mention of nafshi v'sicha. Vihi, this is also hidden in this soul of every single yid, also b'Yerushim Aviseinu as inheritance from our forefathers. This is what it says in Zohar, in the Rai Mehemna part of Zohar. There's like a child, a son, which makes an effort towards his father and mother because he loves them more than he loves himself, more than he loves his soul, more than he loves his own spirit. We all share one father. What is this the Alter Rebbe is saying? The Alter Rebbe is going to be a little more elaborate of this very the description of this love, but what he says over here is the love a person one has to his father. So the first love is nafshi v'sicha. I love my soul. Here it's the idea of establishing this image of Hashem as a father, which is true. True meaning to say not just in the context of extracting this love. Hashem is Avinu Malkeinu. He's our king, he's our master. Shlomo Melech expanded on this idea of Hashem being called the spouse, Ish, we are called Isha. But together with that, Hashem is our father, as we know, Avinu Malkeinu, he's our father. And Ke'alei Avecha L'Kulono. And when you have in a family with different types of children, which this is usually the way it is, no two children are usually not the same, does the fatherness, if you will, is that connection, the father connection, less or more based on the virtuous conduct of the child? Not at all. A father is a father, is a father, is a father. As Al Talmud Rebbe says, we have one father. Every yid is one father. We have one father. Because every yid is a chelik l'kabimal. Or every yid is a son of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore, this love is not exclusive to particular people. Everybody can tap into this love because, again, it's innate and inherent by every single yid. And again, imaging the Hashem as our Father. And because He's our Father, this is innate and inherent in a child that he will do everything for his parents. Even he has to compromise his own well-being because he loves them more than he loves himself. He loves them more than he loves his soul. He loves them more than he loves his spirit, nefesh, ruach, neshama, and so on. And therefore he's ready to give himself over. The other places the Lashon is even lemisa, to give himself over to expire because of his parents, for his parents, because he loves them so much. And when we think about HaKadosh Baruch Hu as our Father, we're ready to give up everything for Him, everything, because we love Him so much. And everything means to say, even a compromise on our well-being, we're also, because of our great fervorous love to Hashem, we're ready to give it all up. Now, the Rebbe says, wow, that's fantastic, extraordinary, to give up a yid, giving up his well-being for Hashem because he loved him so much. And the Lashon of the Zayar is, this is something which in Alter Rebbe establishes is something which is pertinent to every single yid. So the Alter Rebbe says, hold it. I mean, where is this written? Where is this documented? and Rai Mehemna. Who wrote the Rai Mehemna? Moshe Rabbeinu wrote the Rai Mehemna. So Moshe Rabbeinu writes about this great love. Well, this is a type of sensation what one like a Moshe Rabbeinu has. The average Yid is struggling. I mean, to say that he's ready to serve Hashem and do for Hashem, do a lot for Hashem, but this idea to image Hashem as our Father, and I'm ready to give up my life like for Him already. I love Him more than myself, my soul, my spirit, and so on, my nefesh, ruach, and neshama. This is something which is maybe over the edge a bit. Doesn't seem like really it's relevant to every single Yid. Apparently, Moshe Rabbeinu wrote it because Moshe Rabbeinu was so close to Hashem, and as such, it wasn't such a big deal. Let's call it for Moshe Rabbeinu to extract this as a default type of love to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And again, looking at Hashem as his father, as a father figure, and just like a child would give up a child makes an effort for his parents more, and again, even compromising himself and his well-being, because he loves them more than himself, loves them more than his nefesh, ruach, and neshama, nafshe, v'ruchim, etc. As Alter Rebbe says, loves them more than everything about him, his whole soul and spirit. So therefore, again, the idea of serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu in a way that, oh, I love you so much, I'm ready to do everything, even if it would compromise my well-being. That seemingly apparently this is something which is a very special type of love, and Moshe Rabbeinu writes this in Rai Mehemna. So it's for people who are like Moshe Rabbeinu, or Moshe Rabbeinu himself, or all like on the level of Moshe Rabbeinu. What's the connection to every single? Why would that be? The Alter Rebbe mentions this is default by every single Yid, and he says, "Avarabu g'dola mizu." There's a greater love, and this is more of a grandier love, and in one hand, in the other hand, yes, relevant and pertinent to every single Yid. This is coming from Rai Mehemna, and this is what the Alter Rebbe continues. V'av k'miu zeh be'ezahu asher arav li b'legeshes lahasig afilu chelik echad mini elef madrigas avar Rai Mehemna. Who is the one which has the audacity to come close, to appreciate even one part of 1,000, 1,000th, one of 1,000 from the level of the great love of the faithful shepherd Moshe Rabbeinu? Who could ever say that this is relevant to every single person? B'chol nefesh miYisrael. This is something very unique to constantly appreciate HaKadosh Baruch Hu as a father, and I'm ready to do everything for him, and again, even compromise my own being. So the Alter Rebbe says, Moshe Rabbeinu was truly a Rai Mehemna. He was truly a faithful shepherd. He loved his sheep. He devoted himself to his flock. Need not to even search this personality within Moshe Rabbeinu. Moshe Rabbeinu was all about an individual which devoted his entire life, entire well-being for Am Yisrael in general, collectively, but ultimately for every single Yid as an individual. Look through the pages of Torah. Someone who stood in the side of Am Yisrael, not when they were doing well, not when they were performing their duties, but to the contrary, constantly beseeching Hashem for Am Yisrael, again, collectively and individually, when Yidden were not at their best, to say the least. Starting from the Egel, golden calf, stood there and told Hashem, if you're not going to forgive them, please erase me from your whole Torah. And time and again, Moshe Rabbeinu was the lover of every single Yid. And not only collectively all of Am Yisrael, the individual, for that matter. Remember we mentioned at a certain time that famous story with Moshe Rabbeinu. when he was shepherding the sheep of his father-in-law Yisrei in the desert, and Hashem appears to him. You know the story with the burning bush, but the Medrash says is when Moshe Rabbeinu was running after one sheep, which left the flock, and he went and picked up the sheep in its bosom and started heading towards the flock to include again this one sheep in the flock. That's what Hashem revealed himself at the burning bush. Hashem says, I like that type of leader. This is what I want. This is what I appreciate. That it's not only the devotion to the masses, or the leader of the masses, or the collective Am Yisrael, but it's the individual. Famous expression of true leader is the leader of Rebbe Yisrael, not of Klal Yisrael. Consequently, we call Yisrael as well, but it's Rebbe Yisrael, means even an individual that I so care for. And this was Moshe Rabbeinu. Kairach, Nasan Vaviram, and eventually the story needed to culminate in that manner because of what ultimately transpired and their behavior, which interfered into the movement and the progression of Am Yisrael physically, spiritually, and so on. But Moshe Rabbeinu initially tried, and he tried to connect to every single Yid as an individual, and again, even when they weren't their best, because this is what Moshe Rabbeinu is all about. He is a Raya Mehem, a faithful shepherd, and therefore this doesn't only reflect that Moshe Rabbeinu sharing himself to the people of his own generation, but this is what Moshe Rabbeinu is all about, sharing the inner self, his inner experiences in his relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, sharing that with every single Yid. This is his own personal, detailed, nuanced, yet exciting, yet unique sensation with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He shared even that with his people. And not only with his people, but Jews, Am Yisrael, in generations to come, subsequent to Moshe Rabbeinu, and for all generations to the end of times. With every single Yid, Moshe Rabbeinu shares his sensation of his relationship with Hashem. And if Moshe Rabbeinu felt on a constant basis Hashem as that Ab, as that Father, the Ab Echad L'Kuli, the Father figure, the Father image within HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore Moshe Rabbeinu was ready to do beyond, similar like to a son which loves his parents and he's ready to do everything for them, even when it compromises his own well-being, because he loves them more than he loves himself. That was the life of Moshe Rabbeinu, and that's what Moshe Rabbeinu imparted and handed and imbued into every single Yid, not only of his generation, but of all generations to come. That they can tap into this sensation. And that's what he says. Mikol Mokim, in other words, who would ever have the audacity to even not only compare himself and to equate himself to the level of Moshe Rabbeinu, to the experiences, the inner experiences of Moshe Rabbeinu's relationship with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, even one of it out of 1,000. Yet Mikol Mokim Efes Kotzeu B'Shem Tzmineu, a bit of it, not its full measure, because that's why Moshe Rabbeinu is Moshe Rabbeinu. It's one of the reasons he's Moshe Rabbeinu, and because of that unique relationship and connection and sensation he had with Hashem. But Efes Kotzeu, a bit, Mirav Tuvi Ve'erei, from the great kindness and light of Moshe Rabbeinu, Meir L'Klal Yisrael B'chol Der V'der, shines to every single Yid in every single generation. This is what Moshe Rabbeinu, his Arai Mehem, that faithful shepherd image of Moshe Rabbeinu, was as mentioned, was something not only overtly experienced in his generation, to the people of his generation, his own flock, but to every single Yid, to the end of all times. He shared this experience, the ability to experience this great love to Hashem. Again, Hashem, the father figure, and hence the natural relationship with Hashem is in a way that I love Him so much because I have the feeling, this sensation of Hashem being this father figure, and as such I'm ready to devote myself, even to compromise my well-being. This again is part of, this is what Moshe Rabbeinu imparted and inculcated into the life of every single psyche, of every single yid. And his Lashon Alter Rebbe says, "Yerusha lanu mi'aviseinu." It's an inheritance from our father, our forefathers. And like he says, these pashtusa b'chol dar v'dar lan haralein, that not only Moshe Rabbeinu in his times, but would give him the Lashon of Zayer, that in every single generation there's a Moshe Rabbeinu, which is reflective of the original Moshe, and their objective is to arouse this what Moshe Rabbeinu imparted with every single yid. And that's why they have as well the Moshe Rabbeinu figure, because they have the same function of Moshe Rabbeinu, to extract this what Moshe Rabbeinu incorporated embedded into the mind, heart, and soul of every single yid. Lanhoralein, to illuminate them, their flock, their particular flock of their generation. But again, it all stems from Moshe Rabbeinu, and again, the leaders, the true leaders of the generation, are called the Moshe Rabbeinu of the generation, because they have that same function to extract or to point out, to identify this what Moshe Rabbeinu incorporated into every single yid. The only thing is, this shine, this ray is, this energy is with great concealment and great cover up, obscurity, very hidden, very concealed, very obscure in the souls of all of Am Yisrael, all the souls of Am Yisrael. In other words, there, and not only there, it's inherently there, but it's concealed. We mentioned many times this idea of Ava Mesuteres, to love, but it's concealed. But the good part of it is, or not only is good and bad over here, it's the good is overwhelming, because this is who we are. This is who we are. It's like somebody who is just sitting on the couch and not wanting to walk because he doesn't realize that his 2 feet could take him from point A to point B, as an example. So when he has to get up and start walking, it's not that he has to create this whole idea of walking and the energy of walking associated with the 2 feet, which he can physically identify in his body. No. For a healthy human being, walking on your 2 feet, this is natural. This is default. And if someone, God forbid, is so ill and has to work on this, in other words, to get up and start walking, even though by the average person, child even, doesn't even know the whole mechanics of the body, but he just does something innate. You start walking your 2 feet, and someone is so ill that he doesn't pick that up, he doesn't identify with it. Him becoming a healthy person, not that he has to introduce the whole notion of walking and its association with the 2 bottom parts of his body, the feet. No, it's there. It's all there. Hashem created the human being, Jew and non-Jew alike, and for that matter, not even the human. There's an energy of walking, even walking quickly and running and so on. Invested in the feet. This is in the physical feet. This is the koach hahiluch, which innately exists with every person. And if a person is so ill again or he's ill that he doesn't get it, and therefore he's sitting and does not want to walk, the idea is just to lift him up and just to point out, he should know that it's not something you have to introduce and incorporate a new idea into the system, the idea of walking, getting from one point A to point B. No, this is inherent in the human being. Again, we said even animal. They have feet, and they're able to walk and run. So too, it's not that we have to go find it. Yeah, looking for Hashem. In a way, let's construct a new level of love, giving Hashem this, appreciating Hashem this as a father figure. Again, we all know Hashem is Avinu Malkeinu, but truly, the idea is to truly have this sensation of Hashem as a father figure, and as such, I'm ready to do everything for Him, just like a son is ready to do everything for his own parents, because he loves them more than even he loves himself, and therefore ready to do to the extent of compromising his whole own well-being. So this is default every single yid. The only thing is you got to toil to extract it. The good part is you don't have to bring this into the system. It's in the system already. It's default in this program of the yid. This is who we are. And we received that unique love as an inheritance from Moshe Rabbeinu, from our forefathers, and so on. But the point is to extract it. And to extract it in a way that it should be on the surface. This relationship should be in that manner on a constant basis. Hashem, you're my father, and therefore I'm ready to do everything for you. So this is again the second level of love, which is noted over here in this chapter. The first one, Hashem called his nefesh. It's not only he's my father, he is my soul, and therefore just like a human being seeks his soul, seeks that seamless relationship between his soul and his body, so too I want Hashem, which again, Hashem's soul is placed in Torah. I want to always be close to Him, and therefore, whatever I have a chance to learn Torah, in this case, the conducive time to learn Torah, again, based on the Zayir, that because you love HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to get up every single night to learn Torah till the morning, to serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu till the morning, because I love you, Hashem, so much, and I want to connect to you, and I want my nefesh. You are my nefesh, you are my soul. And greater than that is, yet again, inherently structured, inherently positioned, possessed rather, even by every yid. This greater level of love, which is the love of Hashem. You are my father. Not only you're my nefesh, but you're my father, and I'm ready to give up everything for you. Again, even compromising myself accordingly. And that's what he says, to extract this great love, which is his hidden love, from its hiddenness, from its concealment, to a state of revelation, to a state of manifestation, that it should be in the revealed dynamic of my heart, in the revealed dimension, rather, in the revealed dimension of my heart. And my mind, meaning to say it should be manifest in my heart, and to be manifest, overtly manifest in my mind. It's not so distant, and it's not so aloof, it's not so abstract. This is as well part of this message of this very famous pasuk of Ki Korvi Lecho, bases the entire Tanya and explains it a number of times. Namely, he's saying the reason why it's Korvi Lecha Dover Made, why is it so close to you? Because this is who you are, and if this is who you are, and it's just a matter of revealing. Remember, when you have a chest of gold of $3 million, worth $10 million, and if you tell someone, yeah, you can get $10 million, okay, maybe he can. Many people did, but he has to work and toil and work very hard to put together this $10 million. But if he has it on the chest and the table, and it's a closed chest, and the whole $10 million dollars are in there, they say, you just got to open it up. Yeah, but there's a strong lock and there's a bit of rust here and there. Open it up. Work hard to open it up, but you don't have to create. You don't have to bring $10 million to the table. It's there for you. It's just a matter of making the effort to uncover it. And so too, this is why it's so relevant. It's something which is so identified with the Yid, because it's part of who he or she is. and therefore to extract it, it's not something wondrous. It's not something distant. It's not something which is some type of over the head type of achievement. No, as such, because it's part of who we are. It's close, and not only close, it's ma'oid, very close, beficha, that it would be expressed in your mouth, in your talking, ovilvavcha, in your heart, la saisai, which is ultimately an expression of action, which is the that it should be constant, you should be accustomed, it should be something that you're used to. It's something that it is prevalent on a constant basis on your tongue and on your voice. La'ayrer kavanas libe, to arouse the intent of the heart. U'meiche, in your mind. Lahamik machshavta b'chayachai mitzvah baruch, to invest, ponder, meditate your thought in the life of all lives, which is Hashem, the infinite being, blessed be He, and to establish, and again, what should be a custom on your tongue and on your voice, this arousal of the kavanah of your heart and mind, again, by meditating your mind in the life of all lives, the source of all life, which is Hashem, the infinite, blessed be He, that this, and everything, this Ein Sof Baruch Hu, is truly our Father. Which again, alluding to the latter love, and Umukir Chayenu, and the source of our life, referring to the original love, again noted in this chapter, that you are my soul, Hashem, and therefore I want to connect to you. So he's alluding to both, he's noting both rather. He says, Avinu, that this becomes the Ragil L'Shem, becomes a custom on the tongue and voice of the Yid, that Hashem is truly our Father and the source of our life. And as such, a love, ava, to arouse to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, this love, like a love of a child to his father. Because it's just a matter of identifying with something that pre-exists and is who we are, based on, again, the koach of Moshe Rabbeinu, to not only be a leader to tell us what to do, but becomes imparts with his innermost sensational experience of the Kodesh Baruch Hu with every Yid in all generations. And then he brings in the Moshe Rabbeinu within generation again, because they have the same function to arouse these levels of love, which again pre-exists as Moshe Rabbeinu is imparting, or starting from what the Neshama is all about, like the Alter Rebbe begins in the 18th chapter. Starting from what Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, our patriarchs, have invested. And then he says in Beis, even more than that, Moshe Rabbeinu's investment into the psyche of every single Yid. As he's the Das, Moshe Rabbeinu stands about, represents the Das of Elokus, Das of Atzilus, and therefore he gives that koach, that clarity in godliness. Again, default in every single Yid. And in this case also, Moshe Rabbeinu establishing, or because of Moshe Rabbeinu, it just, and as such, it's about just revealing something which pre-exists, that, and therefore this can